Hey YouTube, tomorrow is the start of the Psychic Spectacular event. So what I'm going to do is go over the event and which Pokemon are relevant for PvP. And it's kind of nice, well, I was going to say, it's kind of nice because the Psychic Spectacular event lines up with the Psychic Cup, which I put out teams this morning for that. It is a single typing Great League, only Psychic Pokemon. So if you want to know how that's going to work, go check that out. But if you have seen that video, you will know, spoiler alert, there's only like 7 or 8 Pokemon that are going to be relevant in the league, and I don't think any of them are in the wild here. But actually, no, that's not true. Inkay is in the wild, which is Malamar. So there is one that you might want to hunt for, and Gardevoir as well with Ralts. So maybe 2. Okay, so there is starting tomorrow, Wednesday, September 18th at 10 a.m. to Sunday at 8 p.m. So a few day events, 5 days to go out and grind. 2 times Stardust for catching Pokemon. Again, we always love to see Stardust. It's always nice. Plus additional candy for nice throws or better. This is obviously great. Anytime you can get more candy or dust or any of these bonuses are just great bonuses. Increased chance for level 31 trainers to receive XL candy when doing nice, like better, excellent, good, great throws. So those are always great. Again, I wish this increased chance for level 31 to receive XL candies by doing these nice throws was a permanent feature for like all Pokemon, because this is a great bonus, but the problem is this bonus is within a certain time range, and usually a lot of the times these Pokemon are not as relevant for PvP, or there's maybe like 1 or 2 that are good for PvP where you need the XLs for, but it would be nice to be able to do that like all the time with like legendary Pokemon, stuff like that. Pokemon debuts. Hatenna, the calm Pokemon and its evolutions will make their Pokemon Go debut. You can use 25 candies to evolve into Hatterene and into Hatterene. So I'm going to go over just this research. Again, I did not play the main series games, but I just did some research. So we will go over it in a minute here. One thing that I think is going to be very exciting for a lot of people is the Dynamax debut of Beldum in a 3-star raid. Now, if you've done the 1-star raids, you will know that they are jokes, essentially, that you can complete them just by having, I think I had like my Wooloo non-evolved, non-powered up take down a 1-star gym, right? Or 1-star Dynamax. It's very, very easy. I'll be interested to see how hard the 3-star is. I imagine if they're keeping it similar. I mean, like the 1-star Dynamax was easier to do than a 1-star raid, or like on par or easier. I would say easier just because you didn't even need to power Pokemon. But we'll see what the 3-star is, because like 3-star raids you can definitely solo, but they're obviously you might have to go through a couple Pokemon. I'll be interested to see what the 3-star Dynamax is, but it's Beldum. So whenever you can get Beldum, Metagross did get nerfed in raids itself. So there was always the PvP aspect that we look at. So PvP did not get nerfed. It's still like a niche play in Master League Open, and then pretty strong in Master League Premier. But for raiding, they redid the raid system, and Beldum took like a decrease. So Metagross is decreased, so it's not the top steal anymore. So go check out that sort of list. That list is out there, and people explain it better than I can. Okay, a bunch of Psychic Pokemon. Unfortunately, if we just go to the Great League, so a bunch of Psychic Pokemon, go to the Great League and put in Psychic, and this bring up all the Psychic Pokemon. Now, there is Shadow Glade at 17, and regular Glade at 63. And if we go to the, as this morning, the Psychic Cup, there is Shadow Gardevoir at 7, and the regular at 15. So if you want that, Ralts is in the wild, so you can get a Ralts to get Gallade or Gardevoir. Then you got Spunk, Gothita, Colossus. Oh, I'm just gonna mispronounce all these. Algam, Spritzy, Swirlix, Inkay, and Morlul. Inkay is Malamar. So Malamar has become pretty top meta in everything. Here's the Psychic Cup, where it's ranked number 5. Here's the Open Great League, where it is ranked number 8. Here is the Ultra League, where it is ranked number 3. So Malamar is great, and you need XLs, a lot of XLs for Ultra League. So this is actually a fantastic event that again, this is pretty much one of the only 2 Pokemon that are going to be PvP relevant in this event, but it is one that is super relevant, was all through the Baltimore regionals, top Great League meta, really, really strong Pokemon, top Ultra League meta, but requires a lot of XL to get. So in the wild, with the ability to get more candy and more candy XL for good, nice and above, with nice throws or better. So maybe this is an event that from a PvP perspective, you may want to put your gotcha or whatever auto catching device you have away, because it was very important to try and get these XLs for Malamar in the Ultra League. Unfortunately, the rest of these do not really have much play. Like Spritzy and Swirlex have some niche play in like limited. Some of these top ones, like even that is kind of a stretch. Algum, this one is not bad as a stretch in Psychic Cup, but I think it's not a top one either. Spritzy and Swirlex have been used in niche ones before, and they may be used in future ones, so you might want to grab one of these. But like if you're focusing on anything, it's NK. NK and this Beldum Dynamax 3 rays would be my starters, and then I go Ralts, and then I maybe catch a couple of these 3-ish just in case something happens. Flying Pokemon 7k eggs if you care about 7k eggs. Field research looks like all of the sort of public Pokemon, with everything having a shiny except for this new Pokemon. We're not talking about paying money with the state of the game, collection challenges, yada yada yada, the same old. Okay, so I looked up this Pokemon. I was like, okay, what is this Pokemon? Where does it look? So this is the 3rd evolution of the Pokemon. Yeah, let me just actually show the basic. Anyway, so here is the basic Hatenna, Hatterene, and Hatterene, maybe? Anyways, they are Psychic, and then the 3rd evolution is a Psychic Fairy Pokemon. So this is what the Pokemon looks like that you're going to see out in the wild. Just doing some research on it, it looks like it has, obviously as a 3rd evolution, first of all, it has a Gigamax. So Gigamax, I think it's how you short version of it. So so a 4th evolution when you like make it a Gigamax. However, 3 evolution stage Pokemon don't tend to have much play in the Great League anyways, and even in the Ultra League, the 3rd stage evolutions are usually required to have a very good typing and moveset. Now, Fairy and Psychic is kind of a unique typing. It's the same one as Galarian Rapidash, which just had his community day. Galarian Rapidash had his community day. 3rd evolutions don't get much play because you don't have the bulk in Great League just right off the bat. So in Great League, that is usually dominated by 2nd evolution Pokemon, or Pokemon that only have like 2 evolutions. And sometimes if you have 3 evolutions, your 2nd evolution is better in the Great League. For example, Dragonair is better than Dragonite in the Great League. So I don't think this Pokemon is going to have any play in the Great League to start with. Now the Ultra League, I would have to see, it's not on PvPoke yet, but I'd have to see its stat product, and I'd have to see the typing again is already unique. You can just look at Galarian Rapidash. If we go to the Psychic Cup here, that has the Psychic Fairy typing. It only has, it only has 3 weaknesses: Ghost, Poison, and Steel, and it double resist Fighting, double resist Dragon, and single resist Psychic. So when you're looking at it from like a PvP perspective, you need to think, okay, what is the current state of the meta? So from a let's just go from the pro aspect first. Obviously, there are some fighters in Machamp and Pangoro. There's definitely some dragons in Guzzlord, Dragonair, and a few other dragons. And then Psychic Pokemon, a little less. Malamar is pretty relevant now with Psywave. So you do have some resistances. Unfortunately, you also have... Oh, let's actually go for the pro, because one of your weaknesses is steel, but steel just got nerfed, right? I mean, Metal Claw got buffed, but not enough to bring it up to what the Steel Wing nerf did to take away basically Skarmory and Empoleon. They were everywhere, not so much anymore. So that is a pro that one of your weaknesses are not as around anymore. However, Ghost and Poison did get buffed this season. Lots of poison users with Poison Sting got buffed. And then Astonish got super buffed. And all these Ghost Pokemon are now coming out with this Astonish buff. So, you know, from a typing perspective right now, I think you have more weaknesses than there are strengths in the Great League. And then we'll have to look at stat product and most importantly, its moveset. Now, Niantic is notorious for not giving good movesets off the bat. I was looking at some of the, I guess they're not showing the moves here, I was in the other one. I was looking at some of the moves that this Pokemon got here. So here are the moves that this third evolution got in the main series games. You know, obviously as a Psychic Fairy, you have Psychic and Fairy type moves, right? Dazzling Gleam, Psychic. So these are all in GBL. If you want to just like look at these lists and just transfer over some of these moves, Dazzling Gleam and Psychic are obviously really high damage but high energy moves. It has Brutal Swing and Disarming Voice. So Disarming Voice is a quicker fairy move, and Brutal Swing is now a very quick dark move. So if you want it, depending on like the stat products of this thing, I was trying to look here. Like if I was just looking here, quite honestly, a terrible speed, but with a great everything else works very well in GBL because the speed does not translate to GBL. So if you actually just look at the baseline attack and defense and special attack and stamina, like special defense, low HP though. So again, that's one concern. But from attack and defense perspective, like it's decent. But if you have like, and you have options here, right? I don't know what the fast move is. You can learn a bunch of these by TM. I'm just seeing if there's anything like, ooh, Shadow Claw. That's the thing, right? I guess, so these are all the moves available to be learned by TM. I'm just saying like, show me the fast moves here that I recognize. So Magical Leaf is a fast move. And then obviously Shadow Claw is the first thing that jumped out at me here. That has access to Shadow Ball, Play Rough. So it looks like it has a lot of the really good moves that it would need to be relevant, right? Running something with like Brutal Swing, Disarming Voice, or if you want to do like a quick, if it's a fairy, you want to run it kind of like Florges, Disarming Voice, Dazzling Gleam, or if you want to separate it with Psychic and that, Brutal Swing will give you a little coverage for against steals because Psychic and Fairy resist by steel, so you can run Brutal Swing. So again, we'll have to see what moveset Niantic gives it. It will probably be released probably by the time this video is out, or maybe shortly after. They'll release the Pokeminers, or someone will dig up the moveset, and then we can do a little more in-depth analysis of it. But until then, yeah, it's always worth getting a new Pokemon. Again, the only new Pokemon that I've seen that actually has done very, very well, actually not only, because there's two of them. There's two Pokemon that went from the wild to sort of like super, super strong Pokemon, and that was the Skeledirge, the fire, the evolution that got to Skeledirge, and Annihilate. So both of those came in right out of the gate extremely, extremely strong. But for the most part, Niantic is not good at making new Pokemon strong in the Great League or Ultra League immediately. But again, it's always worth hunting new Pokemon and just like banking good IVs and then figuring out what the current moveset is, and then always just hold something just in case in the future something changes. Because again, you can't do anything about two of the three things. The typing is the typing and the stat product is the stat product. You cannot affect those things. You can affect the moveset. And Niantic, who knows what moves they decide to buff and nerf during the season turnover. So you can always just hold in case something gets buffed in your favor. So that is the event. Like I said, I'll probably myself, I do not have an XL Malamar in the Ultra League. I will 100% be hunting this Pokemon in K, and maybe probably doing a few Beldum 3-star raids. What time does it start at? Wednesday at 10. Wednesday at 10. So you got 5 days for it. So that is it. Hope that was helpful. I'm like, again, I'm trying to do this analysis of the new Pokemon, but I can only use like public information on it because until it gets uploaded to PvPoke when the stats and everything there, then I can do the full depth analysis, and I will do one. Maybe I can do if new content creators use this Pokemon, maybe I'll do like a beyond the hype of this Pokemon, be like, okay, here's what's really going on with this Pokemon. So stay tuned for that potentially. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.